everyone, and welcome to our fun behind the scenes live stream build where we try and figure things out for future shows. So here I have an old tire, and my shop is always filling up with all kinds of different things like broken car parts. I just can't seem to throw them away, and of course a bunch of tires. Once they wear out, I like to usually upsize on my cars. So instead of throwing this one out, I think I'm going to try and build something that every home, garage, and driveway DIYer could use. So we're gonna see if I'm gonna miserably fail or come up with something quite useful. So with this old tire here, my idea is to somehow convert it by waving my hands really quickly into some kind of rolling chair. Because think about it, we do work on the driveway, we're sitting on the concrete, and a crawler is just not always all that helpful. We just want a good comfy seat that we don't have to basically forehand crawl around the driveway. So I'm thinking for the bottom of this tire here, and what I especially like about this one is that it's quite brittle already, so it's gonna be easy to drill through. We're gonna put a circular piece of wood here, and then we can attach some casters. So that's the rolling part, and I think I can successfully do that one. It's the top part which is going to be a little bit interesting because we want to sit in here, but I don't want my butt to go all the way down to the piece of wood and just, I already see the viral videos like chick got tire stuck on butt, and I had to walk to the nearest repair shop to pry tire off of chick's butt. That is the headline. So one idea I have is it'd be nice to keep this area accessible for tools, right? And be able to sit on it as well. So I went to the hardware store and I found this cool rope. Now, the purpose of this rope is I'm thinking of creating like a grid pattern here, and then we can sit on it. And so I started looking for rope, and I wanted to find some of the thicker style rope here. That way we don't have like these tiny like floss type of thing going on here, and that's just gonna hurt your hiney. We want something that's for a queen size hiney, your queen and king size heinies. So if you guys have queen and king size heinies, well, give me a like. That way I know how many of you guys are in my boat and we can celebrate. So I have my comments going on right here. So if you guys comment, have questions along the way, post them here right now as we get started. If you have questions or if you see me about to go in the totally wrong direction, I would appreciate you stopping me. So we have PEF2112_Paco. Hi from Colombia, South America. Well, hola to you too. And we have a couple more comments coming in, but wherever you're watching, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, it's all gonna come over here for me. So let's get started. And the first thing I'm gonna do is, I gave this a little wash because it was kind of gross, but I'm going to use this leveler, and not for its purpose at all, but I thought it's a great way to kind of even up our holes that we're going to make to thread our rope. And before we get started, I'm actually, because this is behind the scenes, going to turn on a secret camera over here that you guys can't see, and this camera actually tapes everything that I'm doing, and then we chop it up, and that's what you see in the real shows. So let me get this rolling over here, and there it goes. So I'm just going to take this level and not use it at all for its purpose, and I have kind of a blue chalk here, and that looks about centered to me. I don't know, what do you guys think? So I'm going to mark a little X, and I'm thinking, where am I going to put these holes? Not exactly in the bead area, but I think I'm going to put them right on the sidewalk here. So I'm going to draw a little circle there, in there, and then flip. And we're going to continue on down the tire, and we'll see if this works in our favor. And the idea is I want to keep the holes closely spaced, because if they're too wide, well, that introduces too many gaps into our derriere, and then you got one butt cheek on a rope and the other butt cheek off the rope, and then you're sitting all crooked, and that's just not comfortable. So we want equal butt cheek support, and that's kind of what I'm going for here. And I'm going to move on this way, and that's kind of what I do when I get to a point where I'm like, what am I going to do here? Just start with a different section while we figure it out. All right. And my blue. So that was that. This was there. And it's already going a little crooked, but that's okay. I'm an eyeballer. I know some people right now watching are like, wow, bust out the tape measurement. But if it looks pretty straight to your regular eyeballs, then I think you're good. You don't have to go too nuts with the measuring. I'm just marking these out. And I'm going to eyeball this one. I'm going to put one here and one here. So I got this area marked out, and I'm going to do the same here, and we're almost done before we can start with the drilling. And I'm going to eyeball this again by using these. You guys, this turned out pretty even. I can't believe it. I'm rather impressed with myself. Don't worry, that won't last. That's usually quite short-lived before things go wrong. So we have all these marked up with our, I guess, blue crayon here, and I'm going to start the drilling process. Now with old tires, you never know what's going to happen. You don't know, especially the newer tires, it has wire or metal reinforcements going out, so wearing gloves is a pretty good idea. I'm going to go slowly without. So the failometer just went up on this one, and let's see what happens here and how hard this is going to be to drill through. So I'm going to start with the one closest to me. Because this table is a child's art desk. And those of you watching, turn down those speakers. You can see that went in nicely. Not too many barbs going on. And I can also take a file and see if we can open this hole up any more. Just like that. We want it just big enough to be able to stick our rope in, and I'm kind of stuck for drill size. This is pretty much the biggest that I have here, and well, we're just gonna have to make this do, even if we have to wiggle it in and out, back and forth, right, left. It's gonna do a little dance and get jiggy with it and try and make our hole size bigger. And now my file is one with the tire. See if I can get this out. And the sidewalls are pretty tough, but you'll get through them, especially if you're using an old tire. It doesn't really stand much of a chance. I have some tough scissors here that we can use to cut some of the frays. But moving on to additional holes, and we can always work these holes as we thread our rope. So you are next. Same thing. And I'm gonna get all buff arms, except only one of them is gonna be buff, so I'm gonna be like a half Popeye. That would be kind of cool. I think I'll impress the guys at the club that way. Either that or they'll think I'm a cyborg or something, which I think is probably even cooler. All right. Now, when you guys are checking out this riveting excitement, watch your ears. All right, these holes are coming out pretty nicely. And I think what I'm going to do is finish drilling and try and get the rope through. We might not even need the filing process. Ears. All right. feel like we need some like really heavy rock music as I do this, you know, this kind of like silent movie thing is not as exciting. So here we go again. Now guys, as I do this, if you think up of any cool ideas for making this a shop chair, let me know in the comments. Got a wandering drill. First of all, probably what surprises me about this whole build so far is that this table has not collapsed, because it is a child's play table and it folds in the middle. So I'm very impressed, way more impressed than these actual holes here. So we're gonna see if our luck holds out and this table stays put. And my chat has fallen asleep. Wake up, chat. You need an AC/DC shirt? Dude. And that comes from Bishop2355. Darn straight I need an AC/DC shirt. Good call. I'm gonna see if I can dig one up. I think I actually have one in the closet for you. Next stream outfit. Now as I go around, the excitement is building. I know, not at all, but we're almost done here and we're gonna see if my rope trick is gonna work. All right, just gonna move this so my other camera can see what I'm doing. For those of you that can't watch the entire stream, once this project is done and we actually end up with a success, we actually break up all these steps into bite-sized portions. So those of you who want to try it at home, well, you can see what worked, what didn't. But those of you sticking with me live, well, that's where all the fun really happens. That's where you get to see the fails go live. I think we got like just a few more. Uh-oh. You know what that is? That's called drill falling asleep-itis. We're gonna see if we can milk this drill all the way to the end of this. But it's 2, like many of you guys are feeling that 2 o'clock slump like me, that post-lunch slump. So come on, drill, wake up. And I like to drive it out that way because it helps pull all that debris from outside the hole. And I think I got a hole here. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is gonna make it. It's got one more hole left. I don't know. This is the last hole. This is the last hole. Come on, come on. All right, you can go to sleep now. You've had your lunch, got some work done after lunch. So yeah, he's allowed to kind of take some time off. So let's see here if we can get the rope through. If not, then we're gonna have to file all these things down. But there we go. Let's start with these 2. And ooh, I've made a huge rubbery mess on this child's table. And let me grab the end of the rope here, see what we got going on. So luckily this rope has some glue at the end, so it'll make it easy for us to go ahead and thread through. But I think the first thing I'm gonna do is thread it in. You guys, look, this part of it totally worked. Threading it through, and we need a way to attach it. And this is kind of just occurring to me as I'm doing it. I'm gonna tie a knot at the end, but it'd probably be a better idea to put a big old washer on the rope tie your knot, and then that way you have a washer holding your knot. I don't think I have a washer of such a size. I have all kind of the little ones. So for this prototype, I'm gonna go without it, and we're gonna see how long this tire thing lasts. I do have 3 others, so I can always just, you know, try again. So this is a 16-inch diameter tire, and I figured, you know, for my derriere, I think this is a nice size. Also in the shop, I have a 20 or 18 or 20 inch, something like that, from my Hummer that I took off many, many years ago when I upgraded those tires. But I thought that that would be way too big and just heavy. I want something that I can just lean up against the wall and then take it outside and do my work whenever I want to. So something a little bit easier, not so heavy on those casters. All right, so I'm making sure that my knot is getting bigger and bigger. See, I'm trying to just make kind of a huge knot here for you guys to see. And I kind of let it fold in on itself like that. And there. Now the other idea I have is, if this doesn't really last, we could probably use some hot glue gun all over it and make the knot, just set it. So that way it doesn't move, it doesn't kind of unwind or unthread. Or unthread. You guys know what I mean. So that's ready to go, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull it through and see if that, hey guys, that's kind of nice. So I think what I'm gonna do is just, let me think of a pattern here. I'm gonna go here to here, and then underneath come out here, underneath come out here, and then come out, and then work my way crisscross. And I think that'll give us minimum gappage for each of our butt cheeks. Our butt cheeks will all be equally supported. And this rope is super long because they only sell it in this size, but I figure if I end up liking this, I may make more of them because I know my friends come around and every time they see I have a new gadget, they're like, ooh, we want that too. I'm just gonna give this a little pause while I do this on our main camera, so that way I don't have to look at all that footage later and try and figure out how to do it all. So you can see this was kind of folded up in some kind of rope climbing type of thing, or mountain climbing. I kind of like my feet planted right here, although I do love outdoor activities as well. So if you guys are just joining us, we are trying to take this old tire that's just been lying around the shop for a while and turn it into something I think we all need, which is a rolling tire chair, tire stool, tire creeper, something like that. And we'll see how it comes out. I'm kind of making it up as we go. So you, those of you who have been watching, you'll probably figure that one out. So this is the hole that I think would be the cross hole. So let me just run this camera one more time here and figure out our cross hole here. Ooh, that hole was a little bit tighter. So because we have all this rope, this will be interesting. This could take a while, and I probably should cut it, but I'm afraid to cut it kind of too short because I don't really know how much all this crisscrossing of the rope is actually going to take. So I think I'm going to grin and bear and do it this way. And luckily, I'm not doing this alone. I actually have you guys to grin and bear with me. Bet you weren't expecting that. You were probably expecting such like a cool build, like the typical YouTube videos. This is gonna be a little quick 5-minute watch and stuff. Well, I got news for you. This is not like the reality shows where everything just works out. We kind of figure it out and kind of mess up along the way, and then we recover. We always recover. So, well, hopefully, we'll see. So, now this is going kind of nicely, and let's see what happened to my secret camera over here. Let's see what's going on with it. Did it just die with the batteries? Let's see. And let's get it going again. Oh yes, it died of the batteries. Well, I think the camera is kind of like personifying what you guys are feeling, like, oh my gosh, she is still threading the rope. It is just like, I'm over this. Life is over. This is too much. Is this what I'm living for to watch? And it just decided to not want to watch this anymore, do something else. But it may miss some of the most amazing fails. And nice successes too, because this may actually end up being super cool. All right. I think it's going to end up being super cool because I can so see myself using this in the driveway for some of my projects. Think about like a brake job where you're sitting on the driveway, the hot sun. It's usually really hot, and I have a mat and all that, but still you're dragging the mat around and you're doing like the butt scooch as you go from wheel to wheel. And I thought, heck, it would just be nicer to just be able to roll, and your typical rolling stool is a little bit like, it's a little bit too tall for those kinds of jobs. So this would be a little bit easier to do. So as I do this, the first fail that I'm seeing here is that probably should have undone this. I thought it'd be easy to thread it while undoing it. And let me try and find the end of this thing. Da-da-da-da. There we go. That way. That way we can get it a little more organized. So. Still pulling, and this is the part that's been pulled, so we can actually tuck this in here so we know how much more we have to pull. And I'm guessing the more we pull, the more this is going to get easier, because then we're going to have less and less rope to deal with. So there we go, and continuing on. And remembering which orientation to keep this. Well, I don't need these anymore because we're not drilling. The drill is dead anyways. It kind of saw where this project was going, and it was like, abort mission! Abort! All right. So, again, if you guys are just joining us, we're trying to make a rolling chair, ottoman, something out of this tire. And so I have this, what looks to be like a climbing rope, or just a work rope going through. And I think that it's just the right width to properly support a derriere. There we go. Now it's getting a little bit easier, and we're going to thread this through. And I'm kind of afraid to cut the rope to make our lives easier, because then if you end up with too short of a rope, well, now you got to tie two ends together, and you kind of lose the strength of the rope that way, I think. So continuing on. Paracord, somebody says, Guy on the Couch XX says, paracord would work nicely for that as well. It doesn't knot up as easily, and it's softer on the bum. Oh my gosh, I wish I had talked to you before shopping, because the whole point of this rope was to be soft on the bum. That's why I bought it. I even thought about putting a cushion on top, and then it just started to get like all complicated, because the idea is, if we have a grid here where we can put our wrenches in here, we can put all the different like nuts, bolts, the little bitty bits that often go away. I'm going to fill this up. I thought about buying like grab bags of 10mm sockets and just fill this entire tire with it. So that way I can just roll around and hand out 10mm sockets to everybody in need, because those things are like socks. When you're drying your clothes, there's always that one sock that goes missing into magical sock land. So here we go. Paracord is a great idea. So I do have 3 more tires, and I might switch to that would paracord be too small in diameter? So Bishop 2355 is asking, would it be too small in diameter? You know what, that's a good question, because I'm trying to remember when I bought this, all the other cord that was there, and they did have paracord, but I think the problem was I just didn't find the thickness that I wanted. So, let's see here. Now, our spaghetti mess here. Yes, I didn't find the thickness that I wanted, and this one kind of seemed like it would work. It seemed like it was like nylon-y, soft enough. So I figured I'd try it with this. And this is kind of like a prototype for you guys. And we'll figure this out as we go. And I think I'm going to keep this on the floor. And as I organize this, I'm just kind of pulling out all the knots. So the rest of this hopefully will go a lot faster. Let me just give my other magical camera a rest here, the one that's recording all this. For those of you that can't hang the entire time, well, you can catch the clip show at a future date where we just go through all the important steps. We also talk about a lot of your comments. You guys ask great questions, and then we let the others watching that didn't catch this entire stream, so that way they can consider it for their own projects, like the paracord idea. I think it's also nice if you find a big chunky piece of paracord that you can actually unthread it and make smaller paracords for other projects. So all right, the idea here now is, let me get this guy going again. We're gonna go underneath and out. So I'm gonna try and not get any crisscrossing on this. Kind of like how you tie a very neat shoelace, and I am going in from underneath, so I think it's going to be just a tiny bit tougher to do that. And I'm going to grab a pliers here just to kind of help me get this out. There we go, out it pops. So one of my worries was that these holes were just going to be way too little. I was going to have too much trouble getting something so thick. I was going to have to go buy an entirely new drill bit just to get something big enough. But this seems to be working out, and we have more comments. Guy on the couch again. You can get it at in different gauges, he's saying, guys. So that's great news. The beauty of paracord is that the thicker diameters are just multiple strands of the thinner. Yes, braided. So it can really be any size you want. Nailed it. He is so right. That is true. So it could be that the day that I went to the home improvement store, probably it was like a Home Depot or something like that. Maybe it was just out of stock, and little impatient me just didn't look around enough. So paracord is a good, cool tip for the next build. Oh, I got a knot. Let's see if I can get in here and origami my arms. But you can see now this is going a little bit easier. And guy on the couch also said, see my little thing here is scooching around. You can get it in different gauges, and so I think a more thorough look, I probably could have found it. And there. La-di-da! I feel like I'm gonna go fishing or something now. It went from like mountain climbing to fishing with all this. And as when I was little, we used to go deep sea fishing, actually. And so my parents didn't give us fishing poles. We had to graduate to that. You don't just like go around fishing with fishing poles. So we had to make our own fishing poles using just soda cans. So we would drill 2 holes in the soda can, tie a piece of fishing line with a weight, and with our arms try and cast this thing. And then when a fish bit, you have to roll it up really fast, you know, so we just got our rolling hands super, super fast at that point. So now that we have this going, I'm going to try and pull it to keep everything super taut. I don't want my derriere to sink down too low, because that was the whole point of this thing. So I'm going to do this, and we are going to, oh my gosh, you guys guessed it, rethread. This is like the threading show. And hopefully we're gonna start getting through all this. And my temptation to cut this is getting higher and higher, but I'm very curious to see what we're gonna be left with, you know, after this whole thing. So we're gonna get through as much of this as I can before my arms start to get really tired, and we always continue building, and we basically video everything, and you guys can see what you miss on the live stream during our regular clip shows. So just stay tuned to the Wonderspawn page, and we have various shows. We have Gearhead Diva, which this is for that show, and that's on Tuesday nights. So we cover everything from automotive, cool kind of workshop hacks, converting a lot of the old junk in your garage into maybe something you can use. What? Jimmy D or a Rush shirt? Okay, so I do have a Rush shirt because that is one of my favorite bands. Saw them live, oh my gosh. But when I grew up, my mom all had, you know, like they do a lot of kids, learn piano. From there I learned to play the violin. And when I was young, I thought it was so lame. You know, I wanted to rock out, man. I wanted to play guitar. So what I did in secret during the holidays, well, Sam Ash or one of those stores had a guitar amp combination for blowout because it's Christmas. And so I bought this and I hid it in my closet, and I would practice it every day before my mom and dad would come home, but not practice my violin or piano. Man, I practiced the guitar. I still have that guitar to this day because of that memory. It's hanging on my wall, and yes, I pick it up and play it, but as it always happens, you know, you think your parents are so super lame and they don't know what they're talking about. Later in life, you find out they're kind of right about just about everything, right? So I started picking up the violin again because I missed it, you know, and so I kind of combined violin with rock and roll and play electric violin. So if you guys go to the Wonderspawn YouTube channel and you scroll all the way to the bottom, you see some of my violin covers there, and I'll probably end up moving them to a different channel. But later on Wonderspawn, we're thinking of offering free music lessons, like if you guys want to learn to play guitar, drums, keys, and doing it in a way that you can learn quickly and get up to speed and rock out in a band. All right, so we have two of our Derriere supporters here. And now I'm going to continue on with this hole, and let me find the end in this spaghetti. Luigi. That is one spicy meatball, Luigi. All right. So here I go. We're doing the chord dance. Do you have live stream on Tuesday nights? Yes, so Bishop 2355. Yes, we do. We have them at 7 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday nights, and that's our automotive show, Gearhead Diva. So we cover all things automotive and workshop for that show. And then Wednesday nights, we upload a DIY pet show. We all have shop dogs, shop cats, shop little furry-legged helpers. And so these are fun DIYs that you can do for your pet. Save you a ton of money on treats, toys, because that stuff, like we have two big dogs, like 90-pounders. And yeah, treats don't last so long with them. So if you can make things at home that aren't very expensive, it really, really helps out. So that's the Wednesday show. And then Thursday is our new show called Nerd Dungeon, because a lot of you guys that have watched me stream Gearhead Diva or have seen me on the Velocity Network on All Girls Garage knows that I'm a geek at heart. So comic books, movies, that kind of thing. And so we do all fun kind of projects, geek-inspired meals, and like man cave decor, geek decor. And I may be making this worse than I'm making it better. So there is a chance that I'm actually knotting this up worse than it needs to be. All right, so there we go. We had it all going. We had like a rhythm, and then now Luigi is messing me up here with his spaghetti recipe. So there we go. I'm not Italian, so my accent is horrible. So I'm actually, my family is actually from Brazil. So I do get a lot of messages in Portuguese. So if you guys are watching, don't be shy, chat it up. All right, I think I'm ready to go. Let me find the end. I'll be right back. Whoop, it's somewhere on the floor here. All right, here it is. I found my end. All right, all that just to do 2 stripes. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. So I'm gonna continue doing this a little bit more with you guys, and then I will probably come back and next week we will continue either this tire or some kind of other project that we have going on. But let's see here if I can get one more done, because I know it's like super exciting, guys. You're like, wow, threading through a tire with a really long, very long, doesn't make sense kind of rope. But those of you that have been watching from the beginning, bet you can't believe you've been watching this long. Oh my gosh. So, not really exciting. So, here we go. And get this thing unknotted. And the worst part is you got to remember which way you're pulling. Were you pulling up this way or were you pulling down this way? You know? I'm pretty sure we were pulling up this way. So let me move this a little bit closer for you guys. And now we are catching up on all my box of supplies down there. I'm going to keep this going. But you guys can see how long some of these projects take, you know, to do. And we video every step of the way for you and then cut it down, and then when you watch it back you're like, oh my gosh, that looked like a little 5-minute video. But no one knows the true rope pulling Luigi spicy meatball cooking problems that we end up running into. So you guys can watch the easy version, the abbreviated version of this project on Tuesday nights for automotive and workshop. Wednesday is our pet day, so Possum Crafts. And then Thursday is our Nerd Dungeon show. All things geek, cool DIY science projects for geeks. And we have a variety of hosts coming on board. Some of you have already seen them doing their thing. And so anyone that has a passion for doing something, you don't have to be an official a host or anything. We just love people that love building, love trying to figure things out, willing to go through the spaghetti mess and see what they end up with. And you can see I'm getting hot and shiny and glistening as I do this. So let's see here. So, what size would you guys recommend for your own derrieres? Oh, that's a fun question. So my Hummer tire was like an 18-inch, I believe, 18-inch diameter. So this is a 16, which I thought would be a better size for storage, for rolling around, and for the weight issue, just to try and keep the weight down a little bit. All right, I'm hoping with each strand we are going to have less and less rope, but this is like a baby one. So here we have a little mini knot just to try and jam things up. All right, I'm going to have one giant Popeye arm from doing this. We'll see what that looks like. Look like a weird superhero. All right, my superhero name would be Rope Threading Girl. Most lamest superhero ever. That would be me, chances are. Everyone else would be like Laser Eye Boy, you know? Scissor Hands, like Edward Scissorhands. That would probably be something lame like Spatula Pinky, you know? Beware my Spatula Pinky. Because that's just how superpowers get delved out to me. So, oh my gosh, look, I am at the end of my rope, like super literally right now. So, let's keep pulling that, and I am just trying to keep pulling this as tight as I can. So, we have a comfy, super supported derriere, and I'm going to go ahead and continue. And every time I get one of these long lengths done, well, that's just less I gotta pull through the friggin' tire. So, all right, and I'm doing these knots as I go, hopefully making our lives a little bit easier each time. And I'm indeed seeing less rope, so that's actually pretty good. All right, I'm getting the untangled rope on my left and the hot mess, spaghetti mess on the right. There we go. The end! The end! All right, so now I'm gonna go over here and in through this hole. And I might need the help of a file or something just to kind of stick this because my little end here is getting super frazzled. There we go. All right, here we go again with the pulling. And I'm going to try and pull this to this side this time. Have some kind of organization for once. All right. And pulling. All right, so Bishop says I have the Dish Network and it no longer carries Velocity Channel for some reason. Yeah, and I really don't know what that reason is. I get that from a lot of people. Sometimes they stop carrying it, or it's not that they stop carrying it, they actually put it in a different package level. And so you have to call and ask what package level to get it. But I also do know you can get a lot of the shows now on Motor Trend on demand. So I think it's like $4.99 or something, don't quote me. I'll have to look that up. And then other more basic packages carry it. Sometimes you have to go with a different package. So yeah, it doesn't seem, at least, I don't really know if there's a rhyme or reason to it, but that's just the way they are. Oh, there almost went my child's play table. Oh my gosh, it almost bit the dust, guys. Nothing adds excitement like a rickety table that can totally fall down at any moment. And I'm talking any moment here. Like with each one, look at how this shakes, people. Look at that. And so the legs actually fold in. So you know what's going to happen is the table is just going to, you know, fold in on itself at some point. You know that would happen. So here we go. And I was pulling this way, right? I was pulling this way. No, I was pulling this way. Oh, you guys. Guys better be watching this. Help me out. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm going this way. Yes, this way. You guys, I swear, look at you. You're making me just like, ooh, let her pull it the entire rope out the wrong way. You guys, that, you get a demerit. Demerit. That goes on your permanent record, all of you watching. I'll track you down somehow. There we go. And yes, there's been too much rope pulling. I can't keep track of it all anymore. Oh my gosh, Bishop says he's watching to the end. Dude, yeah, rock on. Oh my gosh, so yeah, help me out here. Don't let me pull this thing the wrong way. We've been pulling for far too long. I feel like I'm kneading pizza dough over and over again. All right, so we got a jam up going on here. There we go. And pulling this. If I can get 3 stripes, you guys, that'd be so awesome. For a whole stream's worth. Oh my gosh. All right, so it looks like we are getting to the end of this. And we are at the end of it. Awesome. So, here we go. And wow, this hooked right around my screwdriver there. That was about to be a disaster. And pull my whole thing down. There. All right. Here we go. Where is the end of you? Where is the end of you? There we go. All right, so where am I in this, guy? So I'm gonna thread from underneath and pop out here, right? I'm gonna pop out right here. So here we go. You know what? I wish there was a way I can just, you know what I'm thinking. You all are on the same page as me, taking this and folding it and popping it up through here. So I'm wondering if I can stick this in here, open it enough to stick the rope in its teeth. Hungry, hungry pliers. think I got it. Let's see. I think it might be too thick for me to get it done this way. Guys! Oh my gosh! Guys, look, it popped out. It popped out. And those of you kind of joining the stream right now is like, what is she talking about? It popped out. Out of context. All right. Now the only thing is that it does kind of mess up your rope a little bit doing it that way, but I don't think it's enough to harm the structural integrity. I'll let you guys know as I use this outside as to whether it does, and I can say, oh gosh, guys, my butt done got stuck in the tire, and I won't even have to tell you because the viral videos will be everywhere. Chick gets tire stuck on her butt, couldn't get it off, and had to have it shoehorned off by local repair service. Comes out, saves woman. All right, guys, I think we found the way. So this is definitely the way to do it, and you can't get mixed up because this rope is taut, so it's coming from here, and it's always the one that you can pull on, so there's no forgetting which direction you're going. No GPS navigation needed, but I will say it does make the pulling a little bit tougher to do, but perhaps a little more organized. We'll see. I'm gonna have to rate this at the end if this is a better method or not for doing this. And then I'm gonna have to show you guys this thing in action when I use it outside. All right, and no matter how much, and the one that had the paracord idea, I'm kind of liking you more and more, because I'm thinking you probably have a point here with all this. So, and we have Mr. Just DIY saying hi. Hi back. You caught us in the middle of trying to thread up this tire and trying to turn it into some kind of rolling chair for working on your car outside in the shop, like for brake jobs, where, you know, stools are kind of too tall, but then you end up sitting on the floor, and all kinds of not great stuff, especially in the summertime that the concrete is so hot right now, so it's no fun sitting on the floor. All right, so yes, we are pulling this. Look at this, guys. Look at this hot knotted mess right here. Let's see if I can do something about that. And it looks like all I got to do is start back here with this back knot. And let's see. This is the end that needs to come out. Like that. And then pull you. So, done and done. You are no match for the Denatrus. See, that's another stupid superhero power. So far, my superhero powers are Spatula Pinky, the Denatrus. Whoa, so scary. And finally, sandpaper digits. Because I find I can rub a lot of stuff off just with my hand. So it's like I have sandpaper. And I wouldn't say it's like a, 80 grit or anything like that. I would say it's more like a 200, 250 grit. But yet again, a very lame superpower. Because we would have, laser eyes, axe arm. And then you have sandpaper finger girl. Oh, you scratched my face. Very terrible superpower to have. But it's what afflicts us automotive people. I'll even take like ratcheting wrench hands, All right, we're getting to the end, and I'm gonna have to say I am not quite sure that this method was any better than the one that we were using before. So this kind of still gets a D, This is probably the worst process of all this. I'm hoping that once all this is threaded through, then it'll start getting a lot easier. There we go. I'm gonna turn this for you guys a little bit. And I think after this one, I may give my arms a break because they're feeling like two wet noodles. Two wet noodle arms right here, yeah. So when I started, they were al dente noodles. Now, somebody left them in the water for way too long and they're just flapping around. Yes, guys, yes! But as you can see, if you look here, you can tell, I'm going to flip this tire just a little bit more for you guys so you guys can see in the view here. Well, you can see the fraying kind of that went on when I tried to pull both through. So, I mean, it doesn't look super damaged. I think it'll still hold. But yes, I'm not so sure about that method. I may go back to my regular long stringing method. And with that said, I'm gonna take a break, get myself a soda, a water, something like that before I continue, but I'm gonna give you guys an even longer break. So here you saw a preview for us trying to figure this tire out, and next Wednesday we might be continuing it, or heck, we might be working on something else, but all in all, you're gonna see this come back on our clip show on Gearhead Diva, and we'll give you the date. Next Tuesday, we have something, I think, else on the docket. I'll have to look for the schedule. But anyways, keep posting your comments. I always check back as I work. I'm on social media. Post pictures of some of the tire projects you guys have going on, or some of your tires that you have lying around. And maybe both of us can come up with, you know, a little plan for those. So until next time, catch a break. You got a couple more hours of work, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.